How's everybody after a beautiful meditation this morning? Loving ourselves, feeling
Getting
good.
nice out, Julie. I hope it's nice tomorrow. What time do you want to go?
Well, I was thinking later on after like 1:30, because I guess I was thinking you were going to be in Santa Fe in the morning and then we're going to go in the afternoon.
No, I
So
went to
have
Santa Fe
something.
yesterday.
Okay, because I have something in the morning, but I would think like around 1:30 or so.
Yeah, I don't want to go past 2 because then it starts getting shady and chilly and
Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's call and talk to one another and make our details after class, okay? Decide what's best for all of us. And there's
Okay.
Denise Coleman. Let me admit her. Yay.
Hello.
There's Doug coming in. Hi, Doug. Well, let me admit him first before he can even begin to hear me. Hi, Doug. Hi, Denise.
Hey.
Hey there, Lori. I love seeing all the places that you guys have established as your working out zones or your yoga zones. So good. Any requests, any needs, any issues that you guys want to make sure I work into today's practice?
Upper shoulders, like this part. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feeling a little tense up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, ready to release some of that. Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else in need, special needs?
What kind of tools are we going to need today? I love the word
Oh,
tools. Instead of
good.
taught.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I'm going to use a second share today. And again, always, if you don't have that second share, we can make some modifications and I'll send out what those modifications might be. Here comes Adrian. And likewise, blocks. If you have blocks, a strap, if you have strap, not necessary, any of them, okay? So this can be a tool-free zone, or you can utilize those tools to really work and maybe in a different perspective with our poses, right? Those tools, again, are meant to help us to find better alignment sometimes. They're also there to help us to strengthen that pose, to build the muscle memory that's going to help us stay in that pose maybe a little bit longer. So building grit and determination, strength and mind, body. Okay, so again, only if you have them, only if you'd like to have them around. And thanks for asking that, Chris. Usually I'll say something and I missed that today. So yeah. And I'm going to kind of keep an eye out for Cheryl. I don't know if she's coming today, but yesterday she kept saying, or Tuesday, because yesterday, I don't know about you guys, but I was focused on something else yesterday. But she said she kept trying to come in like all through the class and I never saw her trying to admit. So I'm going to keep an eye out here. But in this morning's class, the other day we talked about the wind and the songs that came up in my mind because of that windy night, and sang a song and shared. And then last night, those of you that saw that beautiful ceremony, one of the songs was "It's a Lovely Day." And so I woke up thinking about that today, and that's how I initiated my 6 a.m. class that I teach for Evolve Strong. And so right now that the sun's coming out, here's Lydia coming in. So now I'm feeling another song that we sang in our song circle last night, and that's "Here Comes the Sun." And by the way, Chris, Paula is asking to join our song circle. So I gave her information to Carol. Yeah. And anybody else that loves to sing. And just a little history about me and singing, and also back to the meditation today. The meditation said about being our authentic selves, our own selves, to really connect with what that is and let that shine like the sun, right? And so for me, I am all about movement. I love dancing. A lot of times singing comes along with that dancing. My voice isn't always like, I guess, on key or in tune. And
Sorry,
back in the day,
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Your voice is great. Don't say that.
okay. Thank you. But well, what I'm going to say is that, and I may have shared this before, but a long time ago, my mother in church said, "You're flat. You're flat." And she wasn't talking about my breasts. She was talking about my voice as I was singing in church, and so that really stayed with me, and it really locked up my throat chakra for a long time in terms of singing, in terms of speaking my truth, in terms of being myself, right? And so I really let that go when I started singing a lot in the Temescal. You know, they say, well, if you can't sing, sing in the shower. Well, I guess I felt that way with the Temescal, the sweat lodge, that I could really start to sing. So anyways, we're going to dedicate this movement today, everything we do about bringing in light and bringing in the sun. So Mark's here, and he's going to accompany me as I sing, and he's going to sing with me. He's got the words. So any of you that know the words, please join in. I'm going to go ahead and mute you guys, and I hope again to keep track of whether Cheryl is coming in or not. All right, let's go ahead, and then we'll get started in some yoga practice. I'll start when you start singing. Here comes the sun, do, 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 do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right.
Hey, darling.
Little darling, it's been a long, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, do, 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 do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Little darling, the smiles return into the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, do, 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 do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, do, do, do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Here comes the sun, do, 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 do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. It's all right. Thanks, you guys. All for your son. Thank you all for singing along. Thank you, Mark.
I love
for
the
making
Beatles.
us.
I love the Beatles.
And
Thank you.
let's just, again, take that sun and that light into ourselves as we move our bodies in our yoga practice today in the chair, and maybe using two chairs if you have them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So, and I'm just feeling just this great sensation of reawakening and opening and again, not getting into anything in any kind of a political realm. I really stayed away from that and will continue to do that in my public world. But just really this great sensation of feeling really warm again, you know? So Mongo, I guess, is going to be with us a bit. So let's go ahead and sit in our chair. Let's let our chest, our heart open up to that sun that's shining here today. Yes, it's a little cold still, but the sun's coming out and it feels really warming on our faces. And let's go ahead and close our eyes and drink in that sunshine through our breath. Okay, inhaling and exhaling, taking that sun down deep in past this energy center where we have our fire and down deep into the belly, the bellows of our fire, okay, where we store all that warmth and that strength. Extending out and in the belly area, chest, heart area, everything opening to this beautiful new lovely day and experience. And let's take our arms down and let's open them up and keep kind of a circle around us here. Fingertips touch and just feel like this is this glowing sun that's around us, okay? And as we hold our arms here, let's keep our back nice and straight. Make sure our feet are running parallel to one another. And maybe just let the fingertips kind of gently push into one another. And just feel that radiance, feel that blessing of the new day, of the sun. Lifting up through the chest as you inhale. Keeping your arms in this position, let's just begin to take our bodies in a circle also, like we are shining out from that sunshine, coming into this circular pattern, keeping our arms up, and we are working a bit in our shoulder area already by maintaining our arms up. And let's reverse that movement also, just by doing this little circular motion. You're working into your core area, because that's what's moving us, is our core. One more time around. And then let's take that sun and burst open with that energy. Come into this beautiful V, this V for victory, this V for being very much into who we are in this moment, this glorious moment that we call in our true self, opening up and letting our hearts shine upward and forward, our faces rise into the new day, into that sun. Fingers expand out like the rays of the sun, lifting arms out a little bit more. And then the sun needs to set too. So let's go ahead and let the arms come down. Let the chin come to your chest and just be here hanging with your neck opening up in the back side. Chin coming towards your chest, and feel yourself pulling down on your shoulders there. With just breath, really, and intention. And now lifting my chin up as I lift my shoulders up into a circle, coming back around, squeezing tightly, letting my arms drop again and my chin drop as well. Slowly moving up and looking up as I go up with my shoulders. And then slowly bringing my head back down. So a shoulder stretch and a neck stretch simultaneously with our breath. And let's reverse that opening of our hearts here. And then letting them close a bit when the shoulders come down, opening up. In breath, exhale. One more time, coming around. And exhale. And let's go into some half moons right now, honoring that female side of the sun, right? We got the sun and we have the moon, and when they come together, we have balance. We have that harmony. So take our hand down, right hand to the right leg of the chair, left arm lifts up. Really let yourself extend here. And let's slide down and hold, okay? And I'm pushing in to the leg of the chair, pushing inward. And as I do that, I feel like I'm able to lengthen out a little bit more in that side body. Okay, checking in with my feet again still. Maybe my body comes down a little bit more with an exhale because it's ready to, not because I'm forcing it, okay? Gravity in my breath is just allowing more depth, allowing more length here. And then bring yourself up, inhale. And before you lower that hand, let's just take a one-sided asymmetrical wrist circle here. Kind of getting into being that flamenco dancer. And let's go in the other direction. Getting into your fingers as well, into the knuckles also. And then slowly beginning to take that down, coming down to shoulder, and then reversing one more time as you let that arm come gracefully down, right? Finding the grace and the beauty in every moment and in every movement, okay? I'm going to take my hand onto the left leg of the chair, or whichever is the opposite for you, holding on tightly to begin with, lifting up. As I hold on here for leverage, it helps me to lift up on my opposite side, my right side here, lengthening the side body. And then I go ahead and let myself begin to slide down as I feel that really beautiful line that you're creating in your bodies. Yoga is about, another aspect of yoga is about so many things. It's about really coming into tune, into connection with your body and how it moves, and seeing the beauty in that, seeing the radiance in that, seeing the shininess in that. Really lengthen here on an inhale. If you want or can, and your body's ready, you exhale and release a little deeper, but only if you're ready for that, all right? You're feeling a lot of that right now, opening up on that right side body and pulling in on the left. Maybe opposite for you. Pull in at my navel point, lift myself up here. Let me go ahead, one arm. This time I'm going to go around in circles, working into the fingers as well. Still cold out there, even though the sun's shining, so let's continue to move our joints so that that cold doesn't enter, and let's reverse. And so that arthritis, that A word, doesn't enter. Don't own it, just keep moving through it, okay? And let's go ahead and keep that motion going, slowly lowering down to your shoulder area. At that point, reverse the motion one more time so we can have some equality there. I'm looking for that. And let's hold on with both hands here to the front legs of our chair. And I'm going to lift up onto the balls of my feet. I'm going to really hold on tight here as I push into the balls of my feet and see if I can lengthen my spine. And it's a little weird to think about lengthening your spine because you're gripping so tight, but push down through the balls of your feet, lengthen up, feel strength in your arms because you're really squeezing in to those chair legs. You're pushing down with the balls of your feet. I'm feeling this especially in the back side of my thighs, way up high. Push down, squeeze in, and relax. Let my hands just open up here. Placing my hands down on my knees. I'm gonna come into rising up, inhale. Exhale into this twist here, okay? And then I'm gonna take my left hand to my right knee, and I'm gonna bring my right arm back at shoulder height, bringing my shoulders back forward, and I want to come over to the side. But this time I'm not gonna go so low because I'm holding on here. I just wanna get another opening there. So we open up to another beautiful day on this planet. And rising up, inhale. Exhale, both hands come down. Rest them on your thighs. This is our transition. Inhale and exhale. And rising those arms up again, inhale. This time, my opposite arm, my right one comes forward, my left one comes back, and I come into this little twist for just a moment, and then my right hand comes to my left knee or thigh. My left arm comes back, my body twists back forward, and lift up and take myself over. Really let your body weight over there. You're not gonna go anywhere if you keep a hold of your leg there, right? If I let go, I would, but let's not do that, okay? No side planting, no face planting. Really lengthen in any depth you want to find. Coming back up, inhale. And exhale, hands can come back down here. Let's do some big heart openers here. Take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers. Pay attention to what thumb you chose to put on top or you habitually put on top, and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Pull down a bit. Chris, this should help your shoulders. It should help all of us just feel some release in our heart and through our chest muscles here. Now, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper into it, you can begin to bring your lumbar spine into an arc and pull forward with your heart space, looking up only if that feels right for you. Drawing your hands up away from the base of your spine, again, only if that is what your shoulders say is good. Don't do it just because I suggested it was an add-on, okay? Just like anything else, when you go shopping or to the store, they can always sell you more. Only take what you want. And then bring yourself back up. Release. And let's just move with grace here and fun, and take one shoulder up and back and the other shoulder up and back. And let's reverse that. And I'm kind of moving into my torso as well. That little slinky kind of walking here. And coming to stillness. I'm going to take my hands behind me again. And remember I said note what thumb was on top, so that this time interlace with the opposite thumb on top. Feet really plant in deeply, pulling in at your navel. And this time, instead of lifting up any higher, we're just going to stay here, but we're going to fold forward just about a quarter of the way. As you do, intensify your core strengthening here, okay? We're in an incline coming forward, pulling it at my center. Bring yourself back to like pretending your back is up against a wall. And that's how straight you are right now. And then bring yourself forward again, intensify in your core. And if you want to go a little farther, you can, but only if it feels right. You may begin to be feeling part of your abdomen coming in contact with your thighs. Again, only if it feels right. Bring yourself up, inhale. And exhale into whatever incline is calling you right now. Pulling in at the navel, especially as you come any lower, right? Any incline, we pull in at the navel. Contracting, constricting. Bringing yourself up. And all we're doing there is that so we can support that lower spine. One more time, okay? Go to wherever feels right for you. And if you are here, you're working that core just as much as if you go lower. It just depends on where our backs are ready to go, okay? So anytime, any place, forward folding, pull in, be strong in the core. And then bringing myself up quite slowly. Ooh, exhale, release from that bind. You're going to feel this rush of blood coming down in through your hands and arms here. And let's do a little bit more in the shoulders, then we'll begin more with the lower body, okay? So let's go ahead, arms out, push through your fingers here, and let's take our left palm up, rise it up, and then bend into your left elbow. Touch your right shoulder. And before you do anything, just take those fingers and give yourself a little bit of connection there, a little bit of massaging, I guess. Just kind of poke around there and see if you find any place that is especially tender in need of your breath to be sent there. And then come to stillness, take the other palm up, rise up, come into holding on to the opposite elbow. And find yourself nice and long on the sides of your body. Feet are still really nicely connected to the ground. And I'm gonna come over, exhale, push down into I'm going to the right, so I'm going to press down into both sits bones so that they are solidly placed onto the chair. And you can go in whichever direction you want. Just make sure when we come up, as we just did, go in that opposite direction. Press down with feet and sits bones. Coming on up. Let's take a few little circles again. What does that work? That works our core. So your circles may be really, really small. You may take them a little bit wider and bigger. Just work at your place. And then reverse. And just stay on the chair, okay? Let's not scoot so much that we push the chair out and away from us. One more circle. And then coming up, notice again, what hand is on what shoulder, because we're gonna switch that out. Releasing, everything comes up. Exhale, let's take it all down. Let's just hang here. Let our arms hang down, pulling the shoulders away from our ears, lifting through our neck, our cervical spine, the crown of the head. Take a couple breaths here. Sweet, good. All right, hands rise up to shoulder height. Palms are down to begin with. Before we go over to the other side, let's just pull ourselves over with our arms, pulling over to the right. Bring yourself back. Let yourself go to the left. Again, working in the obliques a bit here. A couple more times, finding ourselves sliding back and forth. Exhale, inhale. One more time. Bringing yourself up. My right hand now comes up, palm up, raise it up, bend into my right elbow, touch my fingers to the top of my trapezius there, which is engaged. It's engaged now because of my arm lifted. And so I'm just going to press in there a little bit, maybe see how far down my back I'm able to go. And then just have fingers planted there. The left palm rises up, attach, and sit, and place. Feet really grounded here, sides of the body, nice and long. Let your head, if you want, rest back onto your arms. And let's go ahead and take ourselves over in one direction. I'm going to do it on the other side, so it doesn't matter which side you start with. Letting yourself go here. Bringing yourself up. And taking yourself over. And I'm going to become a statistic today. I guess every day we're statistics. Every day we're alive, right? Or whatever happens. But I'm going to get my vaccine this afternoon. So inhale, lift. And here we're going to go ahead and take ourselves forward in that incline. Bring yourself back into a recline. All right, feel that in your core. Just come back as far as you're comfortable to do that, and you don't irritate your lower spine. You're engaging in the core to strengthen your lower spine. Okay, but we always come back to neutral center. Take yourself into that angle backwards. Feel the engagement in your core. The farther you go back, the more you're engaged, but you don't want to go so far back that it doesn't feel good in your lower spine. Come forward. Just coming about a quarter of the way down. Coming back up into neutral, coming back a quarter of the way is what I'm doing. Yours might be an eighth, a 32nd, whatever it might be. Take yourself, let's do that one more time. Forward. Stay solid in your legs. And bring yourself back. And bring yourself up. And let's release. Inhale. And exhale. Everything comes down. And let's just breathe a few times and release the shoulders. And reverse in other directions. Good. All right, let's go ahead now and get into that second share. So I'm going to go ahead this way. I'm going to ask Wongo to maybe move. I'll work around him. So that, sorry, Wongo. All right, straps would be fine, but you don't need them. Blocks could be fine, but you don't need those necessarily. But if you have them, I'll offer some additions here. So let's go ahead and sit up straight. We're going to come into Dandasana pose. Dandasana is staff pose. All right. So staff pose takes a lot of core strength, just like sitting straight and tall like I am right now. Because once we go this way, we release everything here. And there's some benefit for that. For instance, if we're doing cat and cow. In fact, let's do that before we go into Dandasana. I want to hold on to my knees. I'm going to inhale and lift. Notice how I curve into this lumbar spine here, lifting through my heart. And my shoulders pull down. Okay, and then I'm going to curl and tuck and round. Slide my hands down my shins, maybe just a bit. Feel myself pulling at my navel there. Feel that stretch happening in that lower spine. Coming up slowly out of that, never jerking. Come into neutral, and then find myself opening up, sun shining through my heart. Looking up, and then back to neutral. Slide on down, exhale. Your down may just be an inch or two. You might have your hands all the way down to your feet or the floor. It doesn't really matter because it is important that you're doing what your body says it is ready to do. And our body is open to learning, right? And it learns through that muscle memory. It says, okay, I went this far for the last couple classes. Oh my gosh, look at me, I just went a little bit farther. But it also isn't just what we do in our classes. You guys know I'm always saying, what are you doing during the rest of your day to bring yoga into your life? Pull it into your belly. If you don't want to call it yoga, don't call it yoga, just call it movement. Let's do 2 more sets here. Reminding every time I come forward, pull, I engage in my core. And then coming back to Tadasana. Tadasana is mountain pose, right? So this is our mountain pose. If we were standing and we were going up and down on the balls of our feet, let's just do that a few times. then we're into rising mountain pose. We're really working on engagement here in our calf area and strengthening it. But even here, just pressing the balls of my feet into the ground and lifting my heels up. I'm engaging. But this is something you can do seated or standing with some support, okay? So mountain pose, Tadasana, and then we're gonna go into Dandasana, where we're gonna come into staff pose. If it's a lot for you guys to do both legs for any reason, then just work with one leg at a time, okay? If you can get both legs up there, go ahead and do that. So we're trying to really be on our sits bones. You might want to lift yourself up a bit, make sure that you're really there, that long spine behind you. And you're trying to lengthen out the legs. So again, if your legs aren't ready to lengthen, there's a bow in them, that's not a problem, okay? Just have them be where they need to be for you. If you have a bend, that's great. But let's work on maintaining that straight spine so that we can maintain and strengthen here in our core. So Dandasana, staff pose. From here, we're gonna let our arms drop. We're gonna lift up, inhale. And we're just going to exhale. Do a few arm sun salutations. Inhale, lift. Exhale, releasing hands down. So we're making like that sun coming around us. Taking it into our heart space. Rising up with the sun. Letting it explode and open up. You should be feeling this in your legs if you're keeping your feet flexed or pointed. And you're also maybe feeling it in your core because it takes work to sit in Dandasana here, staff pose. 2 more, please. Lift and lengthen. Exhale, releasing. Coming back into hands down. And now I want to release my legs from being nice and solid and strong and just let them be however they're going to be right now. And then I'm going to bend into my left knee just a little bit. Have the outside of your foot still stable on that second chair, okay? And I'm going to just make sure I'm still on my seated chair, my seat's on my seat. Have one leg bent, the other one straight. And I'm going to just walk down that extended leg to wherever my spine will go, where I can stay nice and straight. I'm going to push through the heel, press through the heel of my right foot. And here I am, nice and straight. And I'm going to bend into my elbows, let myself round over, let my head tangle, pull in, right? Where's my attention now? In my core, protecting that lower spine, pulling shoulders down away from my ears and letting my chin bow down into my chest, opening up the back side of my neck. So much going on here. Left hip open, right leg stretching, back of hamstring and calf. And then I'm slowly rising up, chin to chest, coming up one vertebrae at a time. Okay, we came down in a flat spine, we came up in a rounded spine. And then we're going to switch. So I'm going to let my left leg go long again. I'm going to let my other leg just come in a bit. So just find what's good for you. It's just maybe a small opening, that works just fine. But I do want to try to put some action or activity into my left extended leg. Okay, so here I am, first sitting up straight and tall, maybe using my hands to assist with that. And then taking my hands and walking down that forward leg, keeping my spine nice and straight, finding length by pulling up and out at an angle through the crown of my head and letting my tailbone shoot downward and back. Okay, As you exhale, you may feel that you're able to compress down a little bit deeper. And now I'm going to go ahead and let my chin come to my chest. Let my forehead maybe come to my knee. May not. Wherever you are, be there. Be who you are. Be who our bodies want us to be. Pull at your navel. And slowly I'm going to round up again with that rounded spine. Coming up one vertebrae at a time. Really slow. All the actions right here in my core, my navel. As I pull and I lift up, my chin rises up away from my chest. Then I'm going to bend into both of my knees. And I'm going to bring my soles of my feet together. And you guys figure out what that distance is. And I like that, Chris, that you're taking it upon yourself to go into the floor. Any of you, please do that as well. This, utilizing the two chairs. I haven't seen a lot of people that do this when they teach chair yoga, but it keeps those of us that aren't going up and down from the floor much anymore. It helps you still to be able to do your practice and to get a lot of those asanas still accomplished. And this can also be done in bed, right? You can do some of these in bed in the morning. And I thought about some time taking the device and showing you just how to do some nice things in bed in the morning or at night before you go to bed. So here I am sitting up straight and tall. I'm going to hold on to wherever my hands can reach out, where my arms are totally straight. Okay, and so for some of us, our arms are different lengths, right? Anatomically. And we may have our knees open a little bit more or less than others. It doesn't matter. I want you to have as straight a spine as you can. I want you to be looking forward and then bend into your elbows just a bit now. So now my elbows are on the inner part of my thigh. And I'm just letting myself come forward a bit with my torso. And in doing that, I'm opening up my hips just a bit more in this Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. All right, this is hard to do on just one chair. If you only have the chair, you can have your feet grounded on the outside of your feet. You've got them on the ground. You may not get that same kind of opening, but you can still do it with just one chair. So as I'm holding and bent, my elbows are bent, I'm using my bicep strength to take that incline a little bit more forward. And then I'm going to come back, sitting up straight and tall. I'm going to come into a twist now. So you can do twists in a lot of different formations in terms of standing, seated, and the way your legs are. Find twists in your day, but as you do, take them slow and always have a straight spine to start with. Okay, so notice a straight spine. I'm going to take my left hand to my right knee, my right hand behind me, and it's going to assist in keeping my spine straight. All right, nice and long. And now I'm going to go ahead and take that twist, letting my right shoulder bring myself back, and I just got a nice little pop in my lower spine, which is a good thing. I did go to the chiropractor the other day just for maintenance. I still go every 3 months, whether I need it or not. Looking back behind me, and then letting myself come back forward. Find your straight spine. Don't rush in and out of your twists, okay? And then I'm going to take my right hand to my left knee, left hand behind me, push down. That increases the length of my spine, and then come around into a nice turning over here. Looking behind me, twisting over to the left. And bringing myself around, nice and slow. And now let's go ahead and do a little flowing here. I'm going to slide my hands down to my feet and then bring them up to my knees. Hold on tight. Come into a recline, let my head go. Let's be snake-like with this. Let's come forward, chin in, and exhale, bring it back. Bring yourself up and forward. And we are utilizing core strength, right? Be strong, you guys, all the time, pulling in. You may think, oh, I don't have any core strength. Yes, you do. You wouldn't be able to move if you didn't. All right, but we want you to be moving in a stronger way. So we want to keep increasing your activity level in a safe way and increasing your core strength. And coming forward. And then just bringing yourself up here. Let your feet come down. Excuse me. Grab a sip of water, please, anytime you guys need to. Do that as well. And now we're going to do just a little bit of standing up and down from the chair, all right? You don't need to if you don't feel like it. Otherwise, just keep bringing your knees out, opening up your hips, okay? I'm going to just take myself with my arms on that other chair. If you don't want to come out of the chair, then just come up off of the heels, all right? Otherwise, I'm going to push down solidly into my feet and just lift myself up, bring myself forward, and come onto the balls of my feet, all right? And then heels down and take myself back into the seat, okay? Coming forward, or again, stay in your seat and just practice pushing down into the balls of your feet and lifting up your heels. As I come up and forward, I'm really extending my energy down into the ground. And as I do, I'm forward folding here a bit, right? So I got to increase my strength here in my core and bring yourself down. And now take yourself up, find the balls of your feet. And from here, we're going to do cat-cow, okay? So I'm going to exhale, chin to chest. I'm going to inhale, looking up. You can just do this seated regularly in your chair. Or you can do it this way, where we're getting a little bit of arm strength by keeping the weight in our arms in this forward position. And I'm also strengthening my legs by maintaining myself on the balls of my feet. If that gets to be too much, take your heels and ground them down. Okay. Let's do one more set here. And place your heels down if they were up, and take yourself out. Knees out and sitting upright. We will use that chair again. It can stay right where it's at. It's not going to be in our way. So I'm going to take my right hand, slide it down my right leg to see how far it goes today. And I'm going to let my other arm come up. And I'm going to let it come over. And I want to let it dangle. Just let it dangle on the my head. Okay, so I bend into the elbow there. And if this is a lot to reach down, then just take your forearm to your thigh. All right, so see where you're at today. This is also a perfect place to find a block. And so I'm just hanging here, letting my side body open, not having to do anything with my upper arm. My lower arm is pressing into the block or into my leg if I've released my hand down, or my forearm on my thigh. Breathe here, a few breaths, holding it a bit. And then I'm taking that left hand down and bringing the right one up, finding myself centered, feeling that one side's a little more open than the other. So I want to address that by equalizing what I just did to the other side. So I'm going to slide that left hand down or take it forearm to my thigh and find block or thigh. And take the other arm up and let it go. let it release over your ear. And I know like my forearm is just resting at the crown of my head. And I'm feeling that stretch without having to do a lot with my arm. I can pull back a little bit on my right shoulder to let my heart come out and open, shine forth a bit more. Two more big breaths here, please. And then I'm going to let my right arm come down and pull it at my navel as I lift up. Find myself nice and straight here. And now I want to take my left hand to my left knee, right hand to right knee, left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. So you're coming into a twist and you're using your shoulders to kind of direct that motion. Right shoulder forward, left back. Look if that feels good. Bringing myself back. Down, left forward, right back. Coming forward. One more time each side, please. And I'm using breath. That's my exhale. And bringing myself back up here. Just feeling into that long spine that I've created. And then I want to take myself into Peaceful Warrior here. We won't stay here for the rest of the class because we still have about 10 more minutes, but I want you to be able to sense what that Peaceful Warrior is like. And again, come on to the ground if you like. And so I'm going to take my forearms on the chair, maybe a block. I'll let my head rest on that block so that my spine can lengthen. Or I take two fists if I don't have a block and let my forehead come onto the top fist. Or maybe I come all the way down to the chair and tuck my chin in a bit. Find what feels comfortable for you right now. And let's focus on that long spine, just nice and long, and every vertebrae in alignment there, including the cervical spine. If you're on a block that's at the height of your crest of your spine, let's just take a few breaths here. Again, this is just another way of opening up one of our floor poses to a higher level. You can do this on a table as well. But if you have a chair and you can block it up, you can have your back in a nice parallel placement, parallel to the ground. And this can be very, very kind of restorative here, especially having that block in my third eye. Just feel like it's kind of massaging that for me, even though it's not moving, it's just pressing into the pineal pituitary glands there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get myself back up here and take the chair away and bring myself towards you guys. And having one block available, at least if you can. It's all right if you don't. And we're going to work ourselves into our crescent pose, all right? Our high lunge position. And it's a lot like some of the warriors, except for we're going to be on that ball of the foot, like we've been doing several times already today, right? So I'm going to take one foot over to the side, and I'm going to come up high onto the ball of that back foot, right? I'm going to feel that right in here, okay? And return myself towards that front bent knee, looking for alignment. And if I wasn't in a chair, right, I would be just like this. If you'd like to, you can take yourself out of the chair. But the chair really helps to get your alignment, get your strength. I'm still getting something here in that back leg, okay? So just really letting myself open up through my chest and press down into my leg. Don't really need the block for this, but I'm going to be using it shortly, so got it there. And just find yourself with that nice long back leg and your chest and your heart opening up forward here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that block to the inside of my foot on the highest point here. And I'm going to slide my right hand down, press into it, lift my left arm up, and find this. If we were standing, there'd be a lot of balance challenge here by being on the ball of that back foot. So we don't have to worry about that being in the chair. And we do get all the benefits of lengthening, strengthening, and if you like, you can come on over here. And now we're going to take and reverse that. So I'm going to take this hand now onto the block. This is where you come into a twist, and you may not go very far, so that's okay. You might just want to press down into the block. Maybe take your hand just to your hip there and begin to look in the opposite direction, right? So your top shoulder's pulling back, the bottom shoulder's pulling forward. Make sure you stay on that block. Finding that twist, reverse, crescent pose here. Coming back into center, bringing myself up, finding my length in my spine again. Finding a couple breaths here. Push into the ball of my back foot and then bend into that knee. Ooh, let it hang there. Just let it hang. Let myself be on the top part of my foot and just let that knee kind of relax on down there. Maybe just move it a bit. And then I'm going to turn around and come into crescent lunge on the other side. So I have my block ready. My left foot comes forward, or my opposite foot, lining up knee and ankle. And I'm going to press back, slide back onto the ball of that back foot. If your leg does not lengthen out, just keep it bent, okay? But try to stay high on the ball of that back foot. So either way, you can hold onto that chair if you want, and that kind of helps to bring your shoulders back, come into that high lunge crescent pose position. Again, if we weren't in the chair, we would be balancing ourselves right here, okay? So those of you that work out of the chair, if you want to do that, you're welcome to. I'm going to push back through because I get a lot out of just doing this. What are we doing right here? We are opening up that hip flexor. Okay, we need that for all of our forward motions. And then from here, I'm going to place the block down, and I'm going to take my left hand down to that block. I'm going to let my right arm come up, push back again through the ball of that back foot. Take my arm maybe over, really lengthening the side body. Looks good, you guys. And then bringing that hand up, taking it to the block now, and the other hand comes to the base of my spine. And again, this leg can go ahead and bend in if you need. My right hand comes down onto the block, my left hand's behind me, or whatever the opposite is that you did. First, start nice and straight with that spine. Then come into reverse crescent pose. This is very much a challenge on the balance if you're doing it on the floor without the chair. Otherwise, we're building strength here. We're building muscle memory here. And then slowly taking myself back, bringing myself up, finding myself once again in that high lunge, that crescent pose. Feel a little bit more in that hip flexor. And then bend into that back knee that's not already bent. And then maybe just let your leg and knee kind of move around here a bit in the hip joint. And then bringing both feet together. Let's find ourselves facing one another and find whatever feels good for you. If you'd like to take yourself back into your chair. And if I did that, I'm kind of in this little bit of a recline, but it feels good because I've done a lot with keeping my spine really straight today. So that feels good, but it also feels good for me to just pull myself away a bit and have my hips there. So determine what that is for you. Determine where you want your feet to be. I'm going to put my heels on the legs of my chair. I'm going to let my knees turn inward a bit here. So I get a little bit of a last few moments of some internal rotation of my hips. Feel my hips at the back of the chair. Feel my knees coming together. And then I release and just find myself in Tadasana pose, mountain pose, standing or seated. Okay? And in our mountain pose, we always, when we were in class in Vessel, we had a lot of blocks we could give to everybody. And that people would put their feet here if your feet weren't able to touch the ground. But it doesn't really matter. You can do something else or scoot up a little bit. But when we scoot ourselves back, sometimes our feet come off the floor. But find a good place to come together here at the end of our class. Uniting as one with our breath. Uniting as one under the same beautiful sun. Together in this moment, in this new, lovely, beautiful day. And taking hands to heart center or taking one hand over the other at your heart space. I honor the place in you where the universe dwells. I honor that place in you where there is love and there is light and there is peace and there is joy. For when you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, we are one, we are connected. We are sisters and brothers on this planet, sharing much more than we think we are. Much more commonalities than there are differences, that's for sure. And so thank you for your presence, and anything I can do, let me know. Let me have some feedback here or any other time on just what your needs are. Okay, so I keep bringing that to you from my heart to yours. Thank you and service. Namaste. Thanks you guys for being here. And I think we've got a nice group today. Lydia was able to get in today, which I'm glad, and Doug, who was able to join us as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you. I think your dog wants to play. He kept pacing with his
know.
toy.
Yeah, yes, has
There
not
he
had
is. There he is.
not had his walk lately. I think he's looking for that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Really
good.
wonderful, Maya.
So how's Lydia doing? Wasn't it Lydia that had a little issue there earlier this week?
How you doing, Lydia?
Oh,